in an emergency now, not only am I getting information from my command center team about what's happening with the snowstorm, but I'm getting firsthand information from people. I'm now able to crowdsource thousands of people to drive information that I need to run a better government.
For example, there, my next guest is using Twitter to run a city. Joining us now is Newark's Mayor, Cory Booker. Cory, I was quite right too. Popular man in these parts, and I know why, because I was actually here in the area when that huge snowdrift struck. And in contrast to poor old Mayor Bloomberg, who was getting booted all around New York by the media because he had the gall to spend 48 hours without solving it, which in Britain would have taken 3 years, you were getting all the praise because you hit to Twitter and you were just talking directly to people trapped in the snow, weren't you?
Well, every mayor was struggling in this area. I don't want to beat up on Bloomberg because his team was fighting this worst snowstorm we've seen in years.
18-inch drifts.
Unbelievable. But for us, we were able to use all our traditional tools to fight this snowstorm. But for me, being out there in a sort of a mobile command center, I was able to interact with people in a way that we never had before. So as a result of that, we were able to get help to people that critically needed it, whether it was emergency services, stranded folks who were in cars. It was just an amazing experience.
It was very well targeted. I mean, you were literally saying, give me the street you're on right now, we will get somebody to you. When did you realize this was going to be a really effective tool for you?
I got on in May of 2009, and immediately when I started seeing that I could it was a democratizing force. I wasn't a victim of media outlets who would only give you a minute of time. We actually could now talk directly to our residents, thousands of them. And Newarkers now, we have tens of thousands of followers in my city. They can take pictures of problems. We can respond to them, feed me information, often before my staff gets me that information. And it's a wonderful, wonderful way for our city to actually function. And it's a tool in our toolbox, as I said earlier, that is just very valuable.
I mean, mayors have been called twits for years. You're now the proud owner of being the chief mayoral twit in America.
Well, people are not defined in isolation. They're defined in their relationships to each other, and governments, which are such centers of human activity, need to use these new tools, new platforms to better serve folks. And for us, it's really helped us, number one, lift the veil from government, which often people are seen as just twits and don't realize that we are, just like everybody else, struggling with issues, getting upset about things. Today, I saw somebody littering in my street, leapt out of my car, grabbed the litter, threw it back in their car window.
Did you really?
I did, yeah. But then I tweeted about it. I love the pride in my city. So many people started tweeting me back. It created a thunder in my account.
I then have thousands of people all over the city chucking garbage back in cars. Is that what you want to happen?
I want to see, and for me as a mayor, it's a great way to be motivated by my residents, but also to motivate back and to challenge people. We have an anti-obesity campaign called Let's Move, along with the First Lady, that we've got people exercising. We talk about issues of public safety, talk about issues of mentoring. Every day we try to send out positive messages to inspire people, as well as retweet, frankly, the positive messages that we get in from our residents. And it's created a great community of Newarkers, and frankly, people, I have over 1 million followers. There's only 290,000 people in my city, so it's created a big community following even beyond Newark.
Let me turn to Jack and Biz quickly on that. I mean, did you imagine, well, I know you didn't, because you already said that the Twitter original idea was inconsequential chit-chat. Now you have mayors of major cities in America using you to democratize the people. I mean, pretty extraordinary, isn't it?
No, it's amazing what people are doing with it, and they redefine the service every single tweet. And Mayor Cory has just been so impressive in how he reaches out to the city in real time. He gets real-time reports on what people are feeling about the city and what needs to be fixed and what's going very well, and can instantly react, and he does, and that's the most inspiring thing.
I mean,
I'll be there.
Proactive on Twitter himself, actually doing what you do?
Well, I don't know if it's practical there, but for me, it's a great thing we crave authenticity from our friends and from our leadership, and for me, it's just a great way to be myself. And ultimately, helping me find potholes or water main breaks are great, but more importantly, we all know cities have a rhythm, they have a spirit, and what Twitter's helping us do and other social media platforms are really helping us to galvanize that spirit of a city, and Newark is a city that's charging back, and so the people...
Mainly thanks to you being on the charge on Twitter. I've got a question for you, Stone, on Twitter. What do you think about the role of Twitter in
What?
talented leaders in the US politics?
Theater needs to be accessible. And this is a great way for people to be accessible.
I know.
When you're in the urgency, you're drinking out of a fire hose, you tend to live in a bubble.
I
And the more
see.
you can get out with the people, the better. So we still have community meetings. I still go door to door, but this is a way for me to get out of my bubble with thousands of people that can talk to me. Literally, I get in conversations at 2 o'clock in the morning with people about critical issues. So I think it's going to be not the exception to have mayors and other leaders. It's going to become the norm. And frankly, as we see, city departments are now on Twitter because it's a great way to get information from residents.
Oh, I know. But we've still got Alyssa Milano. Finally, just to wrap this up, I want to ask you, how far do you go with what you put on Twitter? When you have your baby, will you be putting the first baby pictures proudly up on your Twitter, tweeting to the world?
I don't know about baby pictures because that then becomes a security issue. But I often joke with my husband that he's going to get to the hospital and I will have already given birth and said to him, "Didn't you see my tweet? It's over. You missed it. You missed the whole thing." But I don't know. I think that's a personal choice. It depends on, how much you want to share. And only, I've always been very accessible to my fans. It's part of one of my favorite things about my career is I grew up in everyone's living room. So for me to share intimate details about my life is not so crazy. But, it's not for everyone, and I do understand that. It also gives you control over, we live in such a time of pop culture and the internet where your privacy is sort of invaded anyway. So if you can control that and you could give the information you want to give, then that's a beautiful thing.
So basically what you're saying is celebrities should just now invade their own privacy. It's like a lot easier all around.
If you can't beat them, join them.
Well, it's better to be sort of not on the menu, but at the table. And this is a way for everybody to get at the table and have a lot more control.
Alyssa Milano, thank you very much. We'll be back with more guests in a moment.